What's up guys, Heart Pirates TCG here. What I have for you today is a Reiju deck that I have been experimenting with for a little bit. I've been kind of posting, deck lists on my Discord, trying to like get people's thoughts on it, and kind of see, what I'm doing wrong, or maybe that, get some tech cards I didn't think of. And after playing probably about 30 games with different versions of this list, whether it be the non-Germa Kingdom engine or the Germa Kingdom engine, I think I found the best list possible, at least for the meta right now, which I have this built to beat Katakuri, Sakazuki, Yamato, and it can do good into Gecko and Perona, but I would say it's kind of 50-50, right? Like I don't have too much experience in those matchups, but the one Gecko that I did play, I have beaten. So before I was struggling a lot against Katakuri, I have thus made some changes to make it a lot better into Katakuri, especially with the triggers and adding some extra blockers that obviously helps go against Enel as well. And with these changes, it feels like I can better control the board, whereas they basically have to wait until the very end of the game to start playing characters that I can't actually take off the board in a realistic way with Niji or a spice card that I'm going to show you. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you guys the deck profile. I will say, guys, I have made some very spicy changes to this deck, and the reason I did so is because this deck does not have a lot of free space that you can actually use. And a big problem with the deck is it just plays like, realistically you could play 50 Germa cards, and that's a little bit of a problem, right? Because we need to be able, like, the Germa cards on their own are not good enough to beat the meta. So by cutting some cards I don't think were as useful as they normally would be, and just like in this meta, I have been able to replace them with more higher impact cards that have led me to win more games with this deck. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of it, and I'll obviously cut to the video. Alright guys, right off the bat, I'm going to talk to you about the Germa cards that I am playing and the Germa cards that I'm not playing. So I'm playing 4 Reiju, I'm playing 3 Niji, and then I'm playing 4 Ichiji. I am not playing Yonji, I'm not playing Judge. I did play Yonji and Judge in previous versions of the deck, but I kept finding that it was so incredibly bricky, and every time I had Yonji in hand, I wouldn't want to actually Dawn Minus to play it. And I also, every time I had Judge in hand, it just felt like I had better plays for 8 Dawn, and also it was hard to even get to 8 Dawn because you have to keep using your effects, to keep gaining tempo and board control. So playing those cards felt like it was a little bit of a waste of space, and this deck doesn't have a lot of free space for you to actually play tech cards. So I decided to cut some cards I felt like were just a little bit lackluster and replace them with some cards I think had a little bit of a higher impact. And one of those cards is Pudding. Pudding is there specifically for, obviously, Sakazuki, but it's also really good into Enel too, if you still run into Enel this set, because obviously yellow is just really good. So I think Enel is still viable, but also Katakuri could have 7-8 cards in hand as well, depending on the board state. This Pudding right here just completely changes the game, especially into Sakazuki. They spend their entire game, they spend the entire game, and their game plan is just to cycle cards based on what they have in hand and what they're looking for. And if you drop this Pudding after you already have Ichiji on the board, because usually they can't get rid of the Ichiji on the first turn, or even if they do, it'd be such a waste, right? It'd be like Ice Age Houndblaze, which isn't really the greatest. But even if they don't get rid of the Ichiji, you drop this down and then you attack for on your 5, like when you have 5 Dawn, you attack for 6 with your leader and then 7 with Ichiji, and you have this Pudding on the board. It's just like, dude, it just demoralizes them. Like it's such a good card for that matchup in particular. And then another card that we have to basically go into Whitebeard as well as Nami is we're playing 4 Gion. I think this is better than Kaya overall, which is why I'm playing 4 of them. I also have a notorious Nami player at my locals and a couple Whitebeard players at my locals too. So this Gion actually really comes in handy, more so against Nami. I'm mulliganing for this card. I don't care about anything else. I will find it. But this card right here is the most important card in the entire game. Anytime they activate an event on your turn, once per turn, they bottom deck something from their hand. It's just really good. Then we're playing 2 Kaya. It's just a generically good 2K. And here's our little guys, right? We're playing 4 of the Ichiji, and then we're playing 3 of the Niji, and then guys, this is a Kaya, but I don't have another Sora, so this is just This is just another Sora, by the way. So I'm playing 4 Sora. The Kai is just a placeholder until I get a 4th one, because this is like the hardest. I don't know if this is an uncommon or a common, or what is it? What is it? Uncommon. Yeah, this is like the hardest card to find. I looked through like 3 guys boxes of like bulk, and none of them had it, which is just crazy. And then we're playing 3 of the mini Reiju. So we're playing 3, 3, 4. The reason we're only playing 3 Niji and 3 Reiju is, I'll explain that actually in a second. We're playing a total of 10 2K counters, and we're playing a total of 7 blockers. But let me go to the events now. You guys might think I'm trolling for this, but we're playing 3 Abernathy Brickfist. For those of you guys who don't know, yellow is like our hardest matchup in the game, in my opinion. Like Katakuri is so difficult to beat with this deck. If you're not playing like a bunch of stuff that can like bounce their triggers. Like every trigger they play except for Satori meets the threshold for Abernathy Brickfist. And you know, you could play Black Bug, you could play 3000 Worlds, but they're kind of expensive, and a lot of times you only have like, you know, 5 or 6 Dawn per turn. Like for like most of the entire game you only have like 5 or 6 Dawn per turn. So you know, you can like play a Niji and then like bounce something back, and then you can play this with like your other 2 Dawn and bounce like another thing back, or like another, if they get a trigger, like bounce the trigger back. Also you can trigger this, you can like you know, you can play what is it called, you can bounce your Kaya back to hand. Obviously you can bounce like something they have back to their hand. Also with Gecko Moria brings back a 4 or less. It could be like a Kuzan, it could be a Borsalino, you know, could, you know, whatever it is, you can bounce it back with this as well. So I think this is just a really flexible card going into the meta right now. Then we're playing 4 of the stage cards. We're playing only 2 of the Germa 66 to basically find the stage card, because the stage is really important. The thing is, we can't play 4 of these because we just don't have a lot of room, so that's why I'm only playing 2 of those. And then we're playing 3 Laws. The reason we're playing 3 Laws is because, like I said, we don't have a lot of Dawn to work with, and you know, we can't rely on playing a Yon, because Yonji, so like it feels horrible like Dawn minusing to play a Yonji and then them swinging like 8 or 9k with Yamato or Katakuri, and then like just like blocking with the Yonji. So you're basically paying, like, you're negging 1 and paying 2 to like play a blocker, when you could just pay 1 to play a blocker without negging at all. And then our final card, we're playing 4 Queens. Queen was a card I wasn't considering playing for a while, but it feels like, you know, you do counter a lot with this deck. Pretty much you counter with all of your big Germa cards, and then you counter a lot of times with obviously like your 2k counters as well. So you just run out of cards really quickly, and then obviously you can get the Reiju to get back some draw power. But you know, sometimes if you're playing against Yamato or Katakuri, like this 6k blocker is actually super valuable, and it's basically just a draw 3 trash 1 with your leader effect. So it's just really good. But yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, like, you know, I was struggling really hard into Katakuri and Yamato, but with the changes I made, especially with like the cheap blockers as well as the Brickfists, it's actually been working a lot better. So let me know what you guys think. You know, if you guys want to play this deck at locals, it's pretty cheap to build, obviously, except for the Queens, and then the Reijus can be a little bit expensive. Everything else is like super cheap though. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about this deck, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.